Get daily updates directly to your inbox plus subscribe. Thank you for subscribing. Could not subscribe? Try again later. Invalid email. Alexsandr Kokorin was given special leave from the club's Turkish training camp last week to hook up with Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar in London. The Russian was invited to Nike's star-studded event where the likes of Eden Hazard and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang were also in attendance. Even with a Europa League clash against Celtic to prepare for Zenit, gaffer Roberto Mancini had no problem in granting Kokorin permission to go. Image. Anadolu. Because he feels the 26-year-old soon won't just be sharing a stage with Ronaldo, Neymar and co. Instead, Mancini says he's good enough to share the same dressing room at one of Europe's top clubs. If Brendan Rodgers and Celtic needed a warning about Kokorin's quality, that was it. He first caught the eye of Scots fans in July 2009 when he scored the only goal in Glasgow as Dinamo Moscow stunned Celtic in a Champions League qualifier. Celtic won the return 2-0 to advance to the playoff round, but Kokorin is now one of Zenit's key men and a 48-cap striker for his country and will need to be snared tomorrow night. Mancini is adamant the striker is so good that he will eventually be playing alongside the best players in the world. On the eve of their trip to Glasgow, Mancini said, "Kokorin was allowed to go to London for a Nike event, but I want you to know that he did not miss a single training session. He trained in the morning, flew to England, then came back and played in our friendly match in Turkey. So he didn't miss a thing, and that's typical of Alexsandr. Kokorin is a footballer of the highest level now. He has the makings of a champion. He could play for any of the strong clubs in Europe and be the best player there. He just needs to keep playing and progressing at the pace at which he did in 2017. Alexsandr greatly improved his skill level last year and played much better. If he continues in the same vein, then I have no doubts he will be a champion in Europe." Kokorin isn't the only Zenit player Celtic will have to be wary of tomorrow night. A quick look at how the Russians reached the knockout stage of the Europa League will tell them that they won the most points and were the top goalscorers in the group stage, seeing off Spain's Real Sociedad, Rosenborg of Norway and Vardar of Macedonia. They racked up 16 points to top their group and rattled in 17 goals in the process. Mancini certainly won't underestimate Rodgers' side, having sent right-hand man Angelo Gregucci to spy on them last week. But he says Zenit's biggest hurdle might be getting over the fact that they've not kicked a competitive ball since December when the Russian league closed down for winter. Mancini said, "When we started the Europa League, I thought it would be difficult for us to get through because we had a very difficult group against the likes of Sociedad and Rosenborg. But instead, we did very well. We got more points and scored more goals than anyone else in the group phase. So who knows how far we can go now. There are many strong teams left in the competition. For now our only focus is on Celtic and it will be a very difficult tie for us. My assistant has been to Scotland and watched all of their matches. So, in terms of preparing for them, we know what to expect from Celtic and we're ready. Our biggest problem could be that we haven't played a competitive match in a long time. Our last game was 2 months ago and that's a long time to wait." Image. Getty Images Europe. Will this be an advantage to Celtic? Well, it's certainly a disadvantage for us. But we will have to deal with the problem if we hope to go further in the competition. Mancini got the better of Celtic in the Europa League in 2015 when his Inter Milan side won a cracking tie 4-3 on aggregate, after a thrilling 3-3 draw in Glasgow. A late goal for the Italians at the San Siro saw them go through after Virgil van Dijk was sent off for Ronny Deela's side. Mancini remembers those matches well, that's why he's taking nothing for granted with Zenit. And the former Manchester City coach says he will only make judgment on whether Rodgers' men are better now, after the outcome of this tie. Image. PA Wire. He said, "I remember the atmosphere in Glasgow was just incredible for the first game with Inter. Matches against Celtic are always difficult because they play powerful, aggressive football. Usually, they're very strong at home. Are Celtic better now than in 2015? After these 2 games with Zenit, I will tell you. Listen, whenever you play Celtic, it's a tough game. You never get an easy game against them. When Inter played them, we had 2 really hard games and I was expecting that. Both of those games were tough for us. If we want to go to the latter stages of the Europa League, we will have to beat strong teams and Celtic are one of them."